All right, so we're going to talk about the second most famous irrational number, the first of which being pi. But we're going to talk about the letter E. Okay, so E is actually the sum of the series 1 plus 1 over 2 factorial plus 1 over 3 factorial. Remember, the factorial meant 2 times 1, 3 times 2 times 1, 4 times 3 times 2 times 1, so forth and so on, forever and ever, which we would write that as the sum from k equals 0 to infinity of 1 over k factorial equals E. If that's over your head, that's okay. I remember this from Calc 2, and it still is halfway over my head. So just know that E is an actual number. So what does E equal? Let's see if Desmos tells us. I remember a couple of the decimals, but I don't remember as many as I probably should. There we go. So 2.718 is typically how much I know. So E is equal to 2.718, so forth and so on. Now, we typically leave everything in terms of E, so you don't actually have to find those numbers. Just know that, pi is 3.14, E is 2.718. E is used a lot in business. It is also used a lot in calculus. So the limit as x approaches infinity of 1 plus 1 over x to the x is another definition. Again, that's a little more than what we're talking about. For us, you just got to tell me when to use E. So here's an example. Typically, E is our base, and then we have it raised to some exponent. Okay, so I could have something like 3 times e to the 4x. Okay, that's just an example. If a is greater than 0 and k is greater than 0, it is an exponential growth. If a is greater than 0 and k is less than 0, it is a exponential decay. All right, so ln, we haven't really got to logs yet, but just know that ln is actually the inverse of E. We will definitely be talking about that more later. So just for now. Also notice on your calculator, a lot of people think that it's IN. It is not IN, it is LN. Just a bad font for your calculator. So if you've ever seen IN on your calculator, it's not really I. All right, what does a graph look like? Okay, so e to the negative 2x, you're still going to start at 0, 1. Because if I plug in 0 there, 0 times negative 2 is 0. E to the 0 is just like any other number to the 0 power, which is 1. Okay? Now, if f of x is e to the x, it looks very similar to 2 to the x. Which if you think about it, it's only 2.7 to the x instead of 2 to the x. So that's why it's similar. A negative in the exponent is a reflection, helps if I could spell, across x. And so it's also going to be a little steeper, so we would say that it's a faster decay, because if I multiply something by 2, it's going to happen at a faster rate. I said that was a reflection across x, and it sure isn't. It is a reflection across y. Remember, x would be a negative out front. and this is not out front, so just remember that. So that means that it would look more like this. So this one would be g of x, and this would be f of x. Okay. And then that's going to pause for E. E will be discussed throughout this entire unit. So right now you are only knowing the basics, and really the number one basic is that it is just a number, and don't think that it's like another variable like x.